From Social Prosperity Partners, this is Community Catalysts. Welcome to Community Catalysts, the podcast that examines the qualities of community leadership and the many paths and forms it can take. I'm your host, Matt Lehrman. Last week, we started an absolutely fascinating conversation with coach, pastor, and councilman John London of Irondale, Alabama, a suburb of Birmingham. And we devoted a lot of time to discussing the role of faith personally, professionally, and in public service. Today, we go even deeper into that conversation. Let's go back to the phrase servant of the people. And I'm curious how you balance the idea of being a servant of the people with the quality of leadership itself. Are there times when it's not enough to be a servant of the people because the people don't know what they want or they don't know what's in their best interests, and you actually have to stand up and be a forceful leader to take them somewhere?
100%. I'll give you one prime example. I'm a sports guy, baseball, basketball, soccer. I mean, I've coached football. I've coached a lot of sports. I'm a sports guy. In our community, my sons and my daughters, my son's is 35, played on this baseball field that haven't had any work for 30 plus years. I mean, nothing's done, nothing changed. And so one of my things before I came on council, even before I got on council, is that we need new athletic fields. We need new baseball fields. We need new soccer fields. And so right now, after 12 years of being on council, we finally are getting new baseball fields. But there are some folks, there are some people who thinks that we don't need them. There are some people who said we don't need them at this spot. We need to put them somewhere else. There are some people that are saying we're spending too much money on new baseball field. And so as the leader, Irondale, the leader of my district, I stood up and said, well, my kids are grown. I do have grandkids. Some of you have kids. Some of you have grandkids. We have young families who's going to have families. So my question proposed to them, how much are your kids worth? How much are your kids worth? Because, the $8 million that we spend in the baseball field, my grandbabies are worth more than that. And there's no monetary value that I'm going to put on for my grandchildren. So if it costs us $8 million to get them new playground equipment, if it costs $8 million to give them new baseball fields and a place to go, splash pad, then that's what we're going to do for the city of Irondale. And for you who are naysayers, who say, we're spending too much money, that just woe is you, but this is what we're going to do.
I want to move on to another topic. When I go out and speak, the topic that I'm frequently asked to speak about is civility. And yet, I don't know if you remember, I never actually used the word civility in my presentation. Now, civility is often touted as a cornerstone of effective governance and of community building. But unfortunately, and I'm sure as you well know, the concept of civility has also been historically weaponized to suppress voices and rights, in particular of African Americans, and especially in places like Alabama. I'm just curious, how do you navigate the line between promoting genuine civility and guarding against it being used as a tool for silencing activism and progress?
That's a tough one. The climate that we are in right now, that's hard to navigate. And I always seek help. I've always seek help to make sure from the elder leaders in the community, from good leaders, other leaders besides being on council, I seek leadership from them to figure out the best way for that to happen. Because, my motto is that sometimes people just want to vent. They just want to say what's on their minds, and get it off their chest. They've been thinking about it. They've been holding on. They're waiting on the council meeting because they know at the council meeting, we're on YouTube and they can get it off their chest. So sometimes you just have to allow people to say within the reasonable, to say what's on their mind, to say what's on their chest, and then continue to do what you think was best for the city. We get a lot of that. We get a lot of people, and we don't. And if we allow Sometimes we get complaints. We let them speak at our council meeting. We give them 2 minutes to speak their minds on non-agenda items, meaning talk about whatever you want to talk about, and also on agenda items. So we give them twice to speak. We don't have to, but we do it anyway because I think they need to. Personally, I think they need to voice their opinions. And we need to, as council, we need to hear what they're saying, and we need to give them their attention. And even though they may be talking about you're not doing a great job, whatever, you need to hear that also as a council better because if it's all good all the time and everybody's praising you all the time, then I don't think you're getting any better. So me personally, I welcome their thoughts. I welcome their conversation. I welcome them be able to speak, to share what's on their mind, because it's that time when I have the opportunity to grow if I need to grow. That's always a growth opportunity in everything that's said. So if you look at it as a growth opportunity, then you'll never be frustrated, sit up on the dais.
You say this like it's important that the city council be receptive to even the angriest people in the community to have their 2 minutes to come and vent to the city council. I hear this in a lot of communities around the country that the people who are coming to vent aren't coming to speak to the council, they're coming to speak to the cameras. Right. And the idea that that video clip is going to have a life of its own that wasn't about advancing any constructive dialogue. It was more demonstrating that they gave what for to the city council. Does that concern you at all?
It concerns me. It concerns me a lot. That concerns me a lot because before, and this is my third round. Before we became, COVID put us on YouTube. All of that happens, put us on where we are now. But before this happened, there wasn't a lot of people coming up and saying different things to the council. But now they use it as an opportunity. Not all of them, but most of them use it as an opportunity to vent to the camera, and then also use it to say it and go back and rewind it and say, well, Councilman London, this is what you said. Or Mayor Stewart, this is what you said. Or, well, they use that as to go back and rewind and say, and so try to hold you to the fire, which I don't have no problem with that because I say what I say, and I say it as honest as I can, and that's it. And so, but Dad, you're exactly right. A lot of people use it because they know they're on camera.
So, like you said earlier, you're your father's son. If someone's going to come and vent, you're going to want to say, have an actual conversation with me, and let's actually talk about this and figure this out together. But I suspect that a lot of those people, as you said before, they're not taking you up on your invitation to do that.
Not at all.
Does that make you second guess? Maybe the comment period isn't serving the purpose that you hope it does.
It does, but you cannot allow them to speak, and they have to say what they say because it doesn't just affect me. Also, I'm not sure how the other council feel, but it just affect me, but also affect the other councilman and also the mayor who's also there. But so you have to allow them to speak.
John, I want to ask you to reflect on 12 years in office. I'm not asking you to speak about any of your fellow council members individually, so this is a completely theoretical question. Can you give me 3 good reasons why someone should consider running for city council?
Yeah, well, if you have a heart of service, I mean that's the number one thing. If you have a heart of service, the city council is a great opportunity to do that. Because not only are you serving Irondale, when we at the League of Municipality every year, you get opportunity to meet other mayors, other council. We get a chance to meet guys like you, Matt, at these events, to be able to learn and grow. I wish I had an opportunity to listen to your whole. I know you cut it in between everything. I think maybe you sent it to me, but I want to listen to the whole conversation that you had. But it's an opportunity to grow. But if you have a heart of service, it's an opportunity. If you think that you have better ideals, in order to move the city, not you, but to move the city forward, it's an opportunity to do that. And then if you just love where you live, if you want to see your city that you live to be the best place for your children, for your grandkids, for yourself, for your grandmama, for your granddaddy, then you ought to look at the opportunity to run for city council.
Let me clarify. The middle one you said, was it better ideals or better ideas?
But ideals.
Ideals with an L.
hmm again, I have my way of doing things, but there may be someone who have some other thoughts that I've never even thought about or concerned. If they think they want to be if this important for their city, important for them, then they try to run for city council in order to get those pushed through.
Right. The reason I asked you to clarify that is when you say ideals, you're talking about outcomes. You're talking about what do you see as the ideal state of future betterment for our community. But if you have ideas, then I might suggest maybe you say the same thing, then apply for a job on the city staff and work those ideas and work on executing them. But at city council, we're about thinking about outcomes, not about micromanaging the way the work is actually being done.
That's 100%. You see, 2025 is a re-election season. And if I'm blessed to be part of it after 2025, I'm good. But one thing I know without a shadow of a doubt, that Irondale, the city of Irondale, is better because I'm myself serving on the city council. I know it's better because I can see it from the, I don't have to hear about it, but I can see it how we've grown in the past since I've been on the city council. So, and it's going to be better for the next 30 years because of the things that we've done since I've been on council.
So this may be a little bit hard for you. And again, I mean no disrespect to anyone else. I asked you for 3 good reasons why someone should consider running. What are 3 bad reasons that that might motivate someone to run for council?
Selfishness. If you're selfish, not a good idea to run for council. If you don't want to be part of a team, not a good thing to run for council. It really not. And if you just think about yourself and your family, if you don't think about outside the box, then it's not a good idea to run for city council because the city will just be stuck in the place that is at, and that's not where we want to be serving on city council or as mayor. We want to grow the city the best that we know how while we're here. And if you don't want to be part of that, then you need to stay at home in front of the color TV.
Within that, I think I heard you also say something else. I would love for you to clarify. If you're going to get elected, you should be coming in thinking that you're there to serve the breadth of your community, not just the constituency that elected you.
Boy, you hit it. What is it? They hit the nail on the head. What we forget, city council, we forget. And even though we serve in district and our district voted us in to be a city council, but a lot of us don't understand, and we have some council throw the constituent term out a lot. But what they don't understand that the whole city is our constituents. And we're here to do what's best for not just the people in our district, but we're here to do what's best for the people in the whole city around it. And if we forget that, we're lost. We're lost and we don't even know that we're lost. And that could be a dangerous thing to just think about your constituents all the time and not the city. Sure enough. I'm here, first of all, because of God, but I'm here because District 1 voted me in. But my vote on the diet is not for District 1. My votes are for the whole city. What's best for the city of Irondale. We just opened up a new Publix a few months ago. I could have said, hey, put Publix in District 1. But no, Publix in a place where it needs to be to serve the city of Irondale. And that's where it's at. And so a lot of our council people forget that one main point, that it's not just about your constituents, but it's about the people in the whole city.
I have one last big question for you. Then we're going to move to the lightning round questions. You might remember that at the end of my keynote presentation, my very final words were that we move our communities from conflict to conversation by making people feel connected, respected, and heard. And I want to ask you if this is actually true in your experience, that it's really possible for people to not win at whatever topic brought them to council, but still feel okay about it because they had the chance to participate in meaningful dialogue. Is that your experience?
It is, but it's difficult for some people. Not difficult for me because I understand uh, again that we're not here just for the community that we serve. We're here for the whole city. And so when something good happens, no matter what district is in, when something good happens for the city, then I'll get rewarded for that also. My family get rewarded for that, and the whole city get rewarded for that. And so we have to make sure that we keep that at the forefront of every decision that we make or every discussion that we make. That we make sure we keep that as the forefront as council. I use your phrase, matter of fact, when I got home to the next council meeting.
How'd it go over?
It's all about responsibility to bring us together, not just the council, not just the mayor, but it's the people that sit out in the audits also. That is all our responsibility, And if one person or two people or nine people or whatever buck against that, because one thing I know about negativity, it's heard the loudest. One person can say something negative and they forget about all the positive that's going on around them, but they want to focus on the negative thing. So I challenged them. As you challenged us at the council. I mean, at the meeting, I challenged them that it's your responsibility also to connect us together. And if you see anything that's on social media, you see anything that I'm doing, you see anything that your neighbor's doing that's disconnecting that, then you need to speak up, and make sure that we get reconnected. And so don't put that all on the council, but I'm challenging you to also be part of that connectivity.
John, thank you. It is incredibly gratifying to know that words that I say at an annual conference actually are being taken back and have meaning in Irondale, Alabama. Thank you for that. John, I have a bunch of lightning round questions. I'm going to throw these at you without preparation, and I want quick, off the top of your head kind of answers. Are you ready?
We go.
John London, how would you describe your leadership style in 3 words?
I love people.
What's the most impactful leadership advice you've ever received?
Treat everyone the way you want to be treated. It's the golden rule.
If you could enact one policy change at the city today, what would it be and why?
Maybe give the mayor a vote, even though we can't because of the population. Maybe get a mayor a vote.
Why would that be useful?
Because, sometimes the council, some of us are not there, and then the mayor votes could either kill it or make it happen if he had a vote.
John London, if you were going to send a message to yourself back in time to 2012, just before you were sworn into office, what would it say?
I would say, hey, think long and hard about you make this decision before you agree so easily.
If you could instantly gain one new skill or talent, what would it be and why?
More wisdom. Gain more wisdom, just to make sure that I'm always doing the reason why, make sure I'm always doing what's right by the people of Irondale.
What's one myth about leadership that you wish people would stop believing?
That is it's all about the leader, the person that's leading. That is just not about him or her. That it's about the team that surrounds him. That the better the team, I use the basketball analogy. The coach could be the coach is as good as his players. If his players are pretty good, then the coach is pretty good. But if his players are not pretty good, then the coach is not very good. Everybody must do their part, and so he is good as, and not we don't need to just say, hey, you're the leader, you go do it all. No, you have a part into this also.
How do you recharge yourself, especially during challenging times?
I coach basketball. Basketball is my release, and I don't play like I used to, so I recharge by playing, shooting around, and I also recharge by spending time with my grandson and my granddaughter. And one thing I've done all of my life and all of my work experience, I've never brought my job home. I don't bring city council home. I don't bring my job from work home. I don't bring my pastor, things that happen to you at the church. I don't bring it home. When I'm home with family, and not leave it like that.
My final question for you: what gives you hope for the future?
Christ gives me hope. Right? Christ focuses on Him. He gives me hope. I'm just reading reading the scripture here in Matt and Mark, that we should need to focus on things that are unseen and not things that are seen. We need to focus on Christ. He always will give me hope that no matter what we see, it's not the reality what's to come. The reality of what's to come is that he will return. He's coming back, whether you believe it or not, and I'm not pushing this on anybody. Whether you believe it or not, he will return. And I pray, and that's where my hope lies, that when he returns, I'll be ready.
Coach, Pastor, Councilman John London, thank you so much for your openness and for the gift of this conversation. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Oh, man, I tell you what, Matt, thank you. I would travel to see you speak. I would come within driving distance to listen to you give that presentation, because I'm going to tell you, it was awesome. It was awesome. I'm getting a little emotional now. First time in my 3 terms that I had a guy that I really focus on what you're really saying. And I want to say thank you. Thank you for that. Because, you had a lot of things to say. That is, it taught me that it's not just me. It's about, it confirmed it. It's not about me, but it's about all of us working together.
I'm really touched. Thank you so much. Once again, my thanks to John London, City Councilman, Pastor, and Coach in Irondale, Alabama. This episode was produced by Kerry Lengel and edited by Nick Living the Dream Tantillo. Jenna Maisel is our production assistant. Our executive producer is John Little. I'm Matt Lehrman of Social Prosperity Partners. If you have a question, comment, or story to share, reach me at 602-688-2724 or podcast at socialprosperity.us. I'd love to hear from you. We'll be back soon with another Community Catalyst.